Sir Walter Mildmay was an English statesman who served as Chancellor of the Exchequer of England under Queen Elizabeth I, and was founder of Emmanuel College, Cambridge. Early life. Born at Molsham, Essex, Mildmay was the fourth and the youngest son of Thomas Mildmay, or Auditor of the Court of Augmentations for Henry VIII, by his wife Agnes Reed, as the commissioner for receiving the surrender of the monasteries. His father Thomas had made a large fortune and in 1540 was granted the manor of Molsham, near Chelmsford, where he built a fine mansion. Mildmay was educated at Christ's College, Cambridge, but apparently failed to take his degree. He later became a student of law at Gray's Inn, and there obtained some employment under his father in the Court of Augmentation. Career. When the Court of Augmentation was reconstituted, about 1545, Mildmay was made one of its two surveyors general. During Edward VI's reign, Mildmay extended his official connection. On the 22nd of February 1546-7 he was knighted, and on the 14th of September prepared, along with 3 others, an inventory of the late king's wardrobe. 16 days later he was appointed a commissioner to report upon the crown revenues. In 1548 he acted on commissions for the sale of lands and for the maintenance of such grammar schools as had belonged to the dissolved chantries. After the Duke of Somerset's arrest he was ordered by the Privy Council on the 12th of November 1549 to examine the royal palace at Westminster, which had been in the Duke's custody, and on the 8th of March 1551 to take charge of the Duke's property at Sion House. For his services he received many grants of land in Gloucestershire and Berkshire, some of which he exchanged for manors in Oxfordshire and Northamptonshire. Other grants of land in Cornwall, Essex and London soon followed. He fixed his country residence at Apethorpe Hall, Northamptonshire, which was granted to him in 1552, and was confirmed to him in 1556. When in London he lived in the parish of Great Street, Bartholomew's. Mildmay soon proved himself a skillful financier. In 1550 he was directed, together with the Earl of Warwick and Sir William Herbert, to examine the accounts of the King's Mints, and in 1551 superintended the establishment of a new mint at York. In December 1551 he was a commissioner to inspect the courts which controlled the Crown lands. On the 2nd of January 1552 he was commissioned to levy the King's debts. On the 21st of November to settle with the Crown accountants the effect of a fall in the value of money. In December to audit the funds belonging to the King's offices, and in that and the next year he superintended the receipt by the Crown of plate, jewels, bells, and the like surrendered by dissolved monasteries or chantries. Mildmay was elected MP for Lostwithiel in 1545, for Lewes in 1547, and Malden on the 1st of March 1553, and then for Peterborough on the 5th of October 1553. Although he was a convinced Calvinist, Queen Mary's accession did not appreciably depress his fortunes, and before her death he was employed on government business. On the 9th of January 1558 he was appointed Treasurer of the forces sent to the relief of Calais and was chosen as Knight of the Shire to represent Northamptonshire in the Parliament meeting in January 1557. After this he represented that constituency 8 times until his death. Under Queen Elizabeth, with whom he regularly exchanged New Year's gifts, his influence steadily grew. On her accession he was at once made treasurer of her household, and was appointed a member of a small committee of Ways and Means to supply the empty exchequer. He was soon busily employed in preparing a census of the farms of the royal revenues, in examining Queen Mary's grants of land, in compounding with those who refused knighthood, in directing the issue of a new coinage, and in selling crown lands. On the 21st of April 1566, Sir Richard Sackville, the then Chancellor of the Exchequer, died, and Mildmay was appointed as his replacement. He was also made Auditor of the Duchy of Lancaster. Busily occupied in the duties of his offices until his death, he concerned himself little with general politics. As the brother-in-law of Francis Walsingham and the friend of Lord Burleigh, he was, however, always heard with attention in the Privy Council, the Star Chamber, and in Parliament. He used what influence he possessed to shield the Puritans from the attacks of the bishops, and often urged the Queen to intervene on behalf of the Protestants in the Low Countries. In his speeches in Parliament he argued that a liberal grant of subsidies placed the government under an obligation to redress grievances, and thus identified himself with the popular party in the Commons. In 1572 he helped to prepare evidence against Thomas Howard, a fourth Duke of Norfolk, who, nevertheless, after his condemnation gave him some rich jewels. The affairs of Mary, Queen of Scots, also occasionally occupied his attention. When she arrived in England in 1567 he strongly advised her detention. In October 1577 he and Cecil visited her at Chatsworth, after she had announced that she had important secrets to reveal to Elizabeth. In 1586 he went to Fotheringhay Castle and informed her of her forthcoming trial, in which he took part as one of the special commissioners. In March 1587 he urged the condemnation of William Davison in the Star Chamber, although 4 times nominated an ambassador to Scotland. In 1565, 1580, 1582, and 1583, he was on each occasion detained at home. But when his name was suggested for the office in 1589, James VI expressed great readiness to receive him. Mildmay's illness, however, brought the suggestion to nothing. Mildmay died at Hackney on the 31st of May 1589, and is buried beside his wife in the Church of St. Bartholomew the Great in London, where an elaborate monument still exists to his memory. The decorations are heraldic, but the Latin epitaph merely records names and dates. The tomb was restored in 1865 by Henry Bingham Mildmay, Esq. Epitaphs on Mildmay and Sir John Calthrop were licensed by the Stationers' Company on the 29th of July 1589. They are not known to be extant. Founding Emmanuel College, Mildmay displayed his interest in education with much effect. On the 23rd of November 1583, he purchased for £550 the site at Cambridge of the dissolved house of the Dominicans of Blackfriars, which was situated in what was then called Preachers Street, but is now known as St Andrews Street. Here, on the 11th of January 1583 to 1584, he obtained the Queen's license to set up Emmanuel College. The architect was Ralph Simmons, and in 1588 the new building was opened with a dedication festival, which Mildmay attended. He installed in the college a master, Lawrence Chadderton, 3 fellows, and 4 scholars, but subsequent benefactions soon increased the fellowships to 14 and the scholarships to 50. According to Fuller, Mildmay, on coming to court after the college was opened, was addressed by the Queen with the words, "Sir Walter, I hear you have erected a Puritan foundation," to which Mildmay replied, "No, madam, far be it from me to countenance anything contrary to your established laws, but I have set an acorn, which when it becomes an oak, God alone knows what will be the fruit thereof." His statutes for the government of Emmanuel College are dated the 1st of October 1585 and are attested by his sons, Anthony and Humphrey, John Hammond Ull, D. William Lewin Ull, D. Thomas Byng Ull, D. Timothy Bright, M.D., and Edward Downing. Mildmay deprecated perpetual fellowships, and warned the fellows against regarding the college as a perpetual abode. They were to look forward to spreading outside the knowledge they acquired within its walls. Mildmay otherwise showed his interest in education by acting as an original governor of Chelmsford School, founded in 1550-1, by giving an annuity of 52s to Christ's Hospital, and by bestowing £20 a year on Christ's College, Cambridge, to be expended on a Greek lectureship, 6 scholarships and a preachership to be filled by a fellow of the college. He also contributed stone for completing the Tower of Great Street, Mary's Church, Cambridge, and he helped to found the Free School at Middleton, Lancashire. There are 3 portraits of Mildmay at Emmanuel College, one with his wife. A 4th painting was at Molesham Hall, demolished in 1809, near Chelmsford, and a 5th at Knoll Park, Sevenoaks. There are also engravings by J. Faber and E. Harding, and an unsigned plate as known. Character and publications. Sidney Lee read that Mildmay was a man of cultivation and of great piety, with some popular reputation as a believer in second sight. Henry Caesar, Dean of Ely, was directed by the Star Chamber to retract a report that he had circulated to the effect that Mildmay had endeavoured to see by conjuration the person of Cardinal Pole after his death. Henry Roberts, in his famous Trumpet Sounding 1589, mentions a book by Mildmay, and describes it as, in print now extant. It was entitled A Note to Noah Goodman. Sir John Harrington, in his Orlando Furioso, B.K. XXIIP 175, gives a stanza in Latin with an English translation. The former he says he derived from Mildmay's Latin poems, which are not otherwise known. A memorial by Mildmay, written for his son Anthony in 1570, consisting of sensible moral precepts, was printed from a manuscript at Apethorpe by the Rev. Arundel Street, John Mildmay in 1893. Many of his official letters and papers are at Hatfield or in the State Paper Office. Family. Mildmay's older brother Sir Thomas was an auditor of the Court of Augmentation, and was the grandfather of Thomas, who was created a baronet in 1611, and of Henry, who was knighted. The latter claimed, in right of his mother Frances Ratcliffe, daughter of Henry, 3rd Baron Fitzwalter, and 2nd Earl of Sussex, the barony of Fitzwalter, and his grandson Benjamin, on the 10th of February 1670, was summoned to the House of Lords by the title. Benjamin's 2 sons, Charles and Benjamin, were in succession Lords Fitzwalter, the latter being further created Viscount Harwich and Earl Fitzwalter in 1730. On his death, in 1756, the earldom became extinct and the barony fell into abeyance. Mildmay married Mary, daughter of William Walsingham, by Joyce, daughter of Edmund Denny, Baron of Exchequer, and sister of Sir Francis Walsingham. She died the 16th of March 1576. His children were Sir Anthony Humphrey of Danbury Place, Essex, father of Sir Henry Mildmay; Winifred, wife of Sir William Fitzwilliam of Gaynes Park, Essex; Martha, wife of Sir William Broomker; and Christian, wife successively of Charles Barrett of Aveley in Essex, and Sir John Levison of Kent, Knight. The eldest son, Sir Anthony Mildmay, who inherited the family estate of Apethorpe, was an ambassador in Paris. He married Grace Sharrington and had one daughter, Mary.